the back, the VOD and the silver screen. Kevin and Tom and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 832. I forgot to come up with a wrong title.
Heart emoji.
Yeah.
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 That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard Guys.
That's a very
That's what
different
I
movie.
watched.
That would be the porn parody. Yeah. That's like, wait, I thought you guys had been saying Hard Guys.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's a little older than I thought we would be doing, but
I watched it in like 3-minute increments.
That's all I really needed.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
But I enjoyed it. So let's go around the table and everyone can introduce themselves.
I'm Matt.
This is Joe.
And this is Tom. Kevin is out this week because we didn't want him around.
Yeah, making salsa.
So, yeah.
There's an old joke. That's an old callback.
That's an old callback.
That's
from
right.
the long-time listeners. So before we dig into the movie du jour, shameless plugs, don't forget, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. It's super helpful. It's greatly appreciated. You can also find us on the Facebook at facebook.com/realspoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. It is called the League of Show Shares because we are hoping you will share an episode. And people who were kind enough to share an episode last week include Julianne Jordan, Chris Falls, Richard Krotzer, Tammy Lynn Powers Betts, Brendan McGuckin, Tom Dowdy, Gabriel Lugo, Chris Magic Man, Heather Sachs, Colby Mack, Ronnie Castle, Jason Weesey, Ken Holzhauser, Edit Photo Gamer, Batman, Rye Guy, Geek to Me Radio, Nostalgia Cast, Mike and Oscar, Ryan Terry, and In Session Film. So thank you very much for doing all that. We greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, we have a Patreon where for $5 a month you get all sorts of bonus content. And we'd like you extra. We just recorded a Wayne's World 1 and 2.
1 and 2 retrospective.
Is part of the SNL thing.
That's right. That's right.
And I was on there again.
You were.
And I don't know if that's enticement, but I was there. And I also revealed all the SNL movies that you didn't realize.
That's true, you
were
did.
SNL
Shocking.
movies.
Yeah.
Shocking.
There's a lot that I did not realize.
I said you're a liar. I said you're a liar as I'm typing it in.
Going to the Google machine.
Egg on my face. 'Cause
Yeah.
You were right.
Yeah.
And we
Egg
also-
on my face also reminds me of the movie Hard Guys. Yeah. There was a
Well,
lot.
just egg whites.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
because, I mean, a whole egg is expensive.
And it would
With
hurt.
that kind of production,
Yeah, good
they can't
Lord.
afford that.
Give you a black eye.
But it was 6 on day one, so.
We have a review.
Oh, dear.
So it is a 5-star review.
But we were yelled at for being woke.
Yeah.
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 Come on, you snowflake.
It's from the guy that I mentioned before. That yeah,
That was,
mad that we made a Catholic joke.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, you're Catholic.
That's
and,
true.
And I went to Catholic schools for,
Correct.
like, 8 years. So.
And I hate Catholics.
That's why you weren't on the conclave episode.
I wouldn't do it.
Did you
So
ever
I-
get around to watching that?
No, not yet.
It's really good. It's really good.
It feels like an eat your vegetable thing. It is absolutely not an eat your vegetable thing.
Yes.
It's going to take some convincing to get my lover to watch it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Just
Just watch without her.
can't.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not true. I can't. But you know, you sit down, you
got-
get time to watch a movie. You go, well, what do you want to
You're
watch?
here. We're here. Like it's, yeah.
And she says, "What? How many ghouls are in it?" I said, "Well, depending on
There could be a lot.
Yeah.
I guess I'll read it. I have to say that this is simply a great podcast. Been listening for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Listened to most shows 3 times or more. They've gotten me through some tough times because of bad health and disability. Even with the best wife and kids, I questioned whether I wanted to go on. Oh,
Oh, goodness.
okay. Times have gotten tougher over the years with the terrible leadership in our sinking country. It's led to much name calling and a country where we are being divided into picking a side. I have to pick this up because this is so long.
well,
I thought I
that
was.
all changed this January.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
Oh God, I thought I was above it all, and they would never get to me. But for those of you with children, you know how hard it is when you see their futures are growing up in a place full of nothing but hate can affect you, and it did to me. Long story short is that I decided to try to block out some of the obnoxious noise by eliminating certain things that provoked or name called, including lots of podcasts that have been important for me. See above. Unfortunately, this podcast I'm not trying to laugh because it does sound like he had a rough go.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the laughing at the podcast expense.
Yes,
right? Like,
yes. For my health, both physically and mentally, that led to me becoming someone I never thought I would, and I never thought I would, and unfortunately, going at someone on the show, that would be me, that is all appearances a great person, and I'm sorry for it. Well, okay. Again. No ill will towards this guy whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know.
Is this the first time anyone's apologized on the internet?
It might make
Yeah,
right. I've gotten rid of all social media and any show that feels necessary to attack anyone in this current climate. Even if that is under the guise of being funny, I've learned this lesson and feel sorry. The show is tremendous. The three hosts that are the three hosts that are left are incredible people and do a great job of
And
blending
of course,
comedy
me,
information.
Me, you, and Matt.
Down to two. Right. Now there's only two of us. Thank you from the bottom
Kevin
of my
will
heart.
be back. We should be clear.
Not for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
We got another
but like
week.
people are gonna think we kicked
Oh,
Kevin
yeah,
off the
right.
show
No,
when
Kevin
you say
is-
it like
yes,
that.
no,
Like,
Kevin will be
Kevin's
back.
still around. He's just on vacation.
Yeah, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and hopefully someday maybe I can come back and listen in a better time and world. Look, I know who this person is. He and I definitely had a back and forth on Twitter about a joke that Tom and I both made regarding the Catholic Church. I don't want anyone that listens to this show to feel like we are targeting them unless you're a MAGA supporter. Then go f yourself. Otherwise,
That's only 50% of the guys.
yeah, right. Yeah, maybe apparently more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Well, technically, he didn't actually get 50% of the voters.
that's true.
There was like 300 million people that just didn't care enough
That's
to vote.
also correct. We fully support your life. We fully support your religious choices. We fully support whoever you choose to be, like, in your world. I don't want anybody to think that we're targeting them.
Yeah.
Again, Tom and I have a knowledge of the Catholic Church that Kevin didn't, or maybe Matt doesn't. So, like, poking holes and jokes at the Catholic Church was not
is adjacent to being self-deprecating.
Correct.
It's why
Yeah.
we can make fun of white people and nobody else should.
Correct.
That's exactly right.
But like, I understand what he's saying about attacking people, but you have one party right now who's entirely that's their
their jam.
entire
Also,
platform.
I'll say there's a difference between conservatives and MAGA.
I 100% agree with you.
I used to consider myself a conservative.
I think you probably can still consider yourself a conservative, but not that conservative.
piece of no way.
I don't think I would consider
I
myself
think,
that anymore.
I think
but
financially conservative is an okay thing to be.
well, yeah, I want to have a roof over my head. I don't
Absolutely.
think that's a partisan issue.
No.
but for real, I know we're way off topic.
Yeah,
He's more
right,
of
sorry.
he's more of like a capitalist hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yes,
Then-
that is correct.
But like, I mean, in terms of I love when people are like, "Oh, you just woke. You were never really a conservative." I'm like, I do this on Facebook threads. I'm like, here's a picture of me and Bill O'Reilly. Here's a picture of me and Sean Hannity. Here's a picture of me and Sarah Palin. Here's a picture of me and Glenn Beck. I'm like, don't question my right-wing nut job.
Yeah,
bona
right.
fides. I was right down there in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
I was listening to
Alex Jones.
Rush Limbaugh when he was on WIBV, motherfucker.
Oh man, I
Like,
forgot about that.
yeah,
he's
so
dead, right?
Yes.
Good.
And so I'm like
Because he's in heaven.
So I'm just like, I made an offhanded joke on the clip out last week, and we were talking about there was a new artist series from a country artist named Tate McRae.
Okay.
And I was like, I have no idea who Tate McRae is, and I was like, I don't even know if it's a guy or a girl because that's not a traditionally
That's
gendered
fair.
name, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's a girl." Okay.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, I wouldn't want to misgender them. I was like, "Oh, wait, no, we're supposed to misgender people." now.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. According to our first female president, Donald Trump, we're supposed to misgender people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know someone's going to get mad about that, and all I can say is don't be a snowflake. Like,
That's it. I mean,
you're the ones who said, what happened to humor?
Yeah,
Why
what-
can't we just make
Yeah.
jokes?
your feelings.
Yeah, and so
right?
so somebody wrote a comment talking about how 50% of the people voted for him, and you need to remember. And I was, just like, and I didn't even bother to answer. But I was talking to Crystal about. I was like, so just to recap, what he's saying is that the voices represented on our show aren't diverse enough. And so he doesn't feel included, and that's not very equitable. Okay.
I agree with
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I
And he
think we
sees
could
no
get-
irony in that.
None whatsoever.
No irony of any kind.
None.
I'm behaving the way you taught me to act.
Right.
Like anyone
Do
that
you
that
do you
that-
remember the like the drug PSA where the
Yeah,
dad, the
I
dad
learned
I
it
learned
by
from, I
watching
learned it
you,
from
Dad.
watching you.
Like, yeah, like it's like no, this is the political discourse you wanted.
Yep.
Because this isn't what the other side was doing.
Nope.
And that was true even when I was ostensibly on their side.
I can even
right?
like, and I said this before. I was like, I understand voting for W. I understand voting for McCain. I
Yeah.
understand voting for Romney. All of those make sense to me.
Yeah.
Not this guy.
Well, to this fella's point as well. If it's bumming you out, yeah, you should drop it.
He did the right
You
thing.
should drop it for sure. I mean, I listen to a lot of political, my little woke echo chamber podcasts on the lead up to the election, and I'm bummed out. And,
Yeah,
and,
man.
And to
I get it.
continue to listen to other people talk about how bummed out they are was not great. And I haven't listened to them, even though I like them. And right, I mean,
She's
if,
not in
if
that
we're,
headspace.
if we're sitting here talking about hard eyes and saying, which we're not, but
we will. We will. I
and, you know,
promise.
and we go like, oh man, it reminds me of the way they're cutting the
Or how dare
all
they
these-
add a gay character into
or
this
whatever.
thing.
And I think shows should talk however they want,
Yeah.
and I think you should listen to the ones that make you
interest you.
I
feel
think,
good.
and look, I applaud the guy. Like, I'm in the same boat. Like, there have been things that I've listened to for a very long time or watched for a very long time that I've just like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I can't listen to the
for a time,
the
right?
fear-
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
just like the fear mongering on both sides, I think is just ridiculous. And I just can't. The negativity, I think, is a lot. And we're on social media, and like you said, you're in your echo chamber, and you just get the same stuff bombarded at
Yeah.
you all the time. It's like, can I just talk about Superman for a minute?
Well,
Like, that's
and-
really
And yeah, and I think this is a great episode for this because there
Yeah.
will be no negativity. I mean, when a movie fires on all cylinders, like
100%.
Hard Eyes did, what bad can you say about it?
nothing. When you get to make a Hobbs and Shaw joke,
Oh,
and the characters know about the joke,
humor, the scare. How can you be scared and laughing at the same time? Unbelievable.
it's your favorite genre.
It's my favorite genre where you do two genres poorly and they both sort of cover each other up in a way.
It's funny because I like this movie.
I thought I had a lot of fun.
I had fun.
I thought it was bad, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think so. This is produced by is it Chris Landon and Mike, the guys that did Freaky, and
Yeah, Chris Landon and Michael Kennedy.
Michael Kennedy. The guys, they did Freaky, they did It's a Wonderful Knife, they did
Time Cut.
Totally Killer.
Yes.
Yes. And then Happy Death Day. So like these guys have figured this out, like mashing of genres.
Yeah.
They figured this out. And what I thought this was they were taking the garbage Hallmark Valentine's Day rom-coms and throwing it, mixing it with the slasher. Now, I've listened to an interview with this director. That's not what they were trying to do. So I kind of feel bad because I was like,
I'm interested in hearing what they
What were they trying to
thought
do?
they were
a
trying to-
legitimate like Rob
Rom-com?
Reiner, not Nicholas Sparks, the traditional
Traditional like
rom
what you
When
think
Harry
of
Met
as 90s
Sally
rom-com.
yes,
Yeah.
mixed with the slasher.
I thought this movie worked. I liked.
Did
this
you
movie.
really?
I
Did you think that they were going for the Hallmark version or for like the sleek kind of 90s Rob
I thought
Reiner
they were
version.
doing the 90s rom-com. I thought, like, in a perfect world, this would have come out in 1992, and the rom-com half would have been Julia Roberts, and the other half would have been Scream.
Yeah, they wanted, apparently they wanted like a Jack Quaid and Emma Stone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, those are big names for
Yeah.
your little movie. Good
Yeah.
luck with either one of
Yeah.
those. But apparently the lead actress has like this ridiculous career on Disney. Like she's on some Disney show called Kick Back. Kicking it, where she's like the lead romantic interest.
And she's in the Disney Channel original movie Girl vs. Monster.
So you say this like it's unbelievable that you wouldn't have heard of this Disney Channel show.
Yeah. But
How
yeah,
have I not heard of this?
Well,
but
you
you
know,
have, I will say,
I have
in
a
his defe-
13-year-old.
You have daughters that
Yeah.
are in that age.
Okay,
like,
all right,
so
all right.
I get why he would think
So
that,
like I know the Ariana Grande
Yes,
show.
yes.
I knew
Yeah.
there's other shows that I
but the
recognize.
Ariana Grande show's from like 10 years ago.
Bella's 13. So I mean, she was watching it.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
guess it was still maybe.
It was
reruns.
weird to see when she was watching it one time, and I was like, "Why does that child look so familiar? Oh my god, it's Ariana Grande."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the lead in this is he's in both Scream movies. He's the
Like the two new ones.
yeah 6 and 7.
Because there have
5
been
and
more
6.
than 2 Scream
5 and
movies.
6.
I
There's
don't
going to
know
be
if you
another
know.
one, and guess
Yeah.
what? I don't think he's in it, which is
Once
insane.
they established that he's unkillable, I think they were like, well, it's not fun to have him in there. There's no
That's
danger.
what they did with Dewey. They killed Dewey every movie, and then they brought him back, and then finally when they get to 5, they're like, nah, we're gonna kill him. They kill him in every movie.
It was funny with Dewey.
I know it's true because David Arquette's great.
Actually, whatever.
Well,
we're
he's
not
great
talking about Scream.
in that.
We're not
I
talking
guess.
about
Yeah. Right, yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, David Arquette, incredible actor. He could be. I've never seen him do anything. I've never seen him try that hard. I don't know.
No, he's
But
in
she's,
Scream.
He
she's
is
been
great
in,
as Dewey.
she's been in superhero stuff too. She was in Freeform's Cloak and Dagger,
Okay.
and she does a voice in Disney XD's Spider-Man.
Well,
And
that's the
she's-
new. Oh no, that's the old one.
And then she's in Hulu's Runaways.
Oh, interesting.
Is this the same bottle cap that's always here?
Yeah.
You guys leave my fidget cap for me. I really
just for you,
appreciate
buddy.
that.
Very concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this again. If you haven't seen, It's a Wonderful Knife, like that's It's a Wonderful Life with a slasher. Totally Killer is Back to the Future with a slasher. Like so, there has been this resurgence of mixing of genres, and I think we talked about it last episode, where I was kind of getting tired of the trauma horror, where I was like, can I just
like the super serious.
Yes.
Like this is definitely more just like
can I get
guy with a
Jason
knife killing people.
swinging a sleeping bag into a tree?
right.
Like that's kind of where I am right now. Now that I agree with Kevin, there's a place for the trauma for that stuff.
Absolutely, some of the best horror movies. In some
100%.
cases, some of the best movies of the last 10 years.
I agree.
Have been those sorts of movies.
One of them is up for an Oscar this year.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty fantastic. This is not that.
No, this is big dumb fun.
Big dumb fun.
And for me, as that, it worked. I guess I didn't go in expecting this to be great. And so
No.
when I was reasonably entertained and it's an hour and 35 minutes and I'm just like, yeah,
hack and slash.
I'm good with
Let's
that.
do it. Because I think
It's like kind of the perfect date movie.
it is kind of
Because it's got
as a matter of fact.
it's got rom-com.
Me and Joe were on a little date.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's
it was a throuple.
Yeah.
Ended up sitting right next to each other. Can you believe it?
It was pretty insane. I'm sitting there chomping on my burger,
Yeah.
and I see Matt and his,
My lover.
of course,
Beautiful, perfect.
absolutely, come walking up the aisle, and I was like, "There's no way." Like, there's no, and they walk into the same aisle, and I was like, "Where are you sitting?" They're like 7 and 8. I'm like, "It's right there."
Oh,
great.
I didn't think about it. Like, oh, it's reserved
Yeah,
seating.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like the odds of them
Legitimately
sitting
sitting right next to me,
That's
which was
funny.
great. It was fun.
Talked through the whole thing.
No, we didn't. The people next to me did.
Yeah, our movie too.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was just people back there just full on like they
Oh,
were
man.
hosting their own podcast.
She had earbuds in, and I could hear. Did you not hear it?
No.
Oh, she had earbuds in, and I could hear the earbuds. She was watching something on her phone, and I was like, "What?
Why would you?
I have
don't
no
understand
idea.
people
I have no
anymore,
idea.
man.
They also ordered an entire pizza and left it,
Oh.
and I was.
I would've grabbed it.
I thought about it because it looked like it had not even been touched.
Wow.
Yeah. I knew we were in trouble when that couple walked in, and the guy had like a a charging station ready to go. Like it was one of those like ones where you just like set your phone on top of it.
Damn.
Like at like a not
that's
like
weird.
down but
Right,
like
right,
up,
right.
and I was like, oh, like this is gonna be
Well, that I sent you guys a picture of me and Joe. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was like, oh, this is crazy, and I felt like this need to very like. Now I'm putting it on Do Not Disturb. Don't worry, everybody. I won't. Like, I'm not gonna be that guy.
I'm not
and then
that guy.
they all would have been fine with it.
They
Thought
would have been
Alamo
totally
didn't
fine with
do
it.
that. Thought Alamo
So
really
you-
didn't let people
It's a
do
lie.
that.
That's a lie.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's a lie.
You know what else is a lie from Alamo?
Showing movies.
Showing movies, because they won't actually show the movie.
You need to like they. I have seen it happen. You need to say something. Like they won't come in and look. Like you know how sometimes
They're
at-
not on patrol.
At
but it-
Warenberg, at Marcus, they'll come in and kind of look at look at the theater,
making
kind
sure
of.
nobody's getting handy.
Well, I don't even know if they're checking that hard. But you have to like
So
write
you've
it on
given
the,
a few,
or received a to
or
We
given.
sat
Or
right next to each other.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, it was
all
all
coming full circle.
Literally,
I do mean coming.
Yeah, that's right. I think of that scene in like a Silicon Valley, like
Yes, right.
the dick to tip ratio. Like how fast can we do this to get jerk everybody off in the auditorium? One of the smartest
It's funny.
and hilarious jokes you'll ever see. It's insanely smart.
Mike Judge.
It is Mike Judge, isn't it? Yeah. But at the Alamo, you have to like write on a comment
Right.
card, like, "Hey, the person next to me won't shut the fuck up."
Look, I ain't no snitch. You know what
That's
I mean?
kinda
I
where I'm
want,
at,
I
too.
want them to do it. I ain't
Also,
no snitch.
They're gonna know that I snitched,
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like
when I
they're
got my cards.
like they're sitting next to me.
Motioning.
It's not like I'm sitting behind them. Yeah. So this movie starts off very. I think it's one of my favorite opening sequences in a slasher in a very long time, where you've got this very stereotypical proposal that is happening. You've got cheesy music that's playing. You've got like they're on this bluff and the sun is setting, and you've got this big like floral banner thing, and he ends up proposing. The scene, she pops this strawberry in her mouth, and she's like, "What is this?"
I told you not
I
put it.
told
no
you don't
food.
put it in my food. And he was like, "Oh, sorry." And he like rinses it off, proposes, and then his phone rings. And of course, it's like, you know, it's some love ballad that's playing, but like his song
So
is like,
baby,
Baby
I'm
Got
amazed
Back.
by you.
Yeah,
by-
yeah.
Oh, on the phone,
on the phone.
ringtone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the ringtone is
I
like a
was-
very different,
yeah,
like hardcore rap song.
yeah.
And you hear like this voice on the other end, and we realize the person that we thought was the killer, who was watching them in the distance, was the photographer, and he missed the shot, so they have to do it all over again. And there's this definite annoyance between the couple. And as the photographer, I like the guy's like, he's like, I'm not on. He's like, I'm gonna give
kill
you a
you.
0 stars on Yelp. He's like, all right, I'm not on Yelp anyway. But,
Yeah.
Then the photographer gets a giant blade through the camera into the eye, and I was like, okay, this is the movie that we're doing, and I am fine with that.
Well,
I'm
and really,
in.
you're doing both of those movies.
That's true,
right? Like, you know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie. And,
That's wild.
And here's my thing. I think it does several things not very well. And like all of the things, like when they're trying to be scary, right? It's like not.
Do you think they were trying? I don't think they were trying to be
I
scary,
don't know,
though.
but like
I mean, is Scream scary? I've never thought Scream was
Sometimes.
scary.
I think Scream has
Sometimes.
good tension and jump
Tension,
scares.
yes.
It's had a
maybe
couple
that's
good
it.
jump scares.
Maybe I mean no tension or stuff. I just feel like every part of it is like winking and going like, whatever. We're stupid. We're dumb. Like anytime, you know what I mean? Like any
Yeah.
serious moment has like a, and then I piss my pants or whatever. I don't know.
The puking thing was a lot.
It reminds me of like, I used to, my friends would be like, let's get pizza, right? And they're like, cool, let's go to Cece's. And I would go, but Cece's is bad.
Oh,
Yeah, like-
Cece's is bad.
And they'd
It's-
say, yes, but you could get as much as you want.
Yeah, you
like-
get as much as you want of bad pizza.
And then I would say, I would go, yeah, but how much pizza are you going to eat? We could get 3 pizzas from whatever.
I mean,
Domino's.
Little Caesars is better than
Sure. We go get 3 pizzas from cool local spot, and it's going to be, and how we're not going to finish those 3 pizzas and be like, boy, I'm starving. It's probably as much. We'll probably have leftovers because it's as much as we can eat. And then we would go to CC's and I'd be like, oh man, this sucks. And I feel like that's kind of like, but there are. So you said, because I said I don't like horror comedy. When a movie is called that, I'm typically like, I don't like this. But then you said, do you like Shaun of the Dead?
Yes.
I was like, well, yeah, come on, of course I like Shaun of the Dead. But
Abbott Costello meet Frankenstein.
There's just
Absolutely
it's
works.
Like, Shaun of the Dead is such a like perfectly crafted film.
You're
right?
not wrong.
In this movie, and actually, hey, plug for the Patreon. Part of what I like so much about the first Wayne's World is that it is a good movie. The story is good. Everything makes sense. The motivations make sense. And I think that like making sure that stuff is in place and it's put together well is important even for like dumb movies. Obviously, I like movies that aren't the most immaculately crafted thing, but
You don't need every movie to be Oppenheimer.
yes, I do. That's true.
Right.
But this is like the motivations of the killers at the end. Like, what are they doing?
It's
Why?
their kink.
But all of a sudden it's different. And I guess we'll get to the end, but like all of a sudden they're like, if true love exists, you'll pull the trigger and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, but you guys have just been killing people for 3 years. And now all of a sudden you're doing this like monologuing thing, which like in a Scream, they do that. But, but there's even just the thinnest amount of like, because you killed our brother and
Because you made my mom leave. Because
now
your,
we want to
your
show
mom
you
made my
this.
mom die or whatever.
And man, I didn't. It's got what I consider like I know people love Robin Williams, but he's a very like shotgun approach to comedy, right? Like
right there with you. Like I'm not.
I
mean,
think he's a comedic genius, but
I don't. But I
think he's a good actor.
He's been in some things I really enjoyed.
Yes,
but I think if you watch his stand up, it's like he's saying a lot of things very fast, and then maybe of 5, 1 will hit, and a lot of time that one is either really hacky or stolen.
interesting.
Sure.
And like I'm
Okay.
yeah, but what if he did it in a funny voice?
okay, fair enough.
So and to me, and I know I that's kind of a me thing. The way that works out for me is if let's say I had an assorted chocolates, like you might get on Valentine's Day, and 4 of them had dog inside of them, and then 1 was a delicious caramel. It doesn't work out for me that like, okay, but that caramel one was really good. And
That's a very good analogy.
I'm not saying that like I know that other people it works more like they can excuse the ones that aren't funny, and I think that's fine. I'm not saying that that's like a dumb way to. That's probably better, right? To be able to appreciate the funniest parts and set aside the. But because I thought there were some times that like I was like that was funny.
Yeah.
But like taken overall, I feel like I ate a lot of. So
I just think I like the whole opening sequence. I like.
I liked how like there was nothing spontaneous about this
at all.
Well,
Like,
also
at all.
I feel like at times it was a parody.
That's where I thought.
And then at times being sincere, but then like the beginning, right, feels very much like this is a parody of romantic comedies. And I'm like, cool, got it. But then they would be very sincere, but in it like, well, this is just cheesy.
Well, see, I thought
I don't know.
The scene that comes to mind when you think is the dinner scene, and that felt like something out of a Scream movie.
Her like monologue, her like.
But I thought they were kind of like not scary movie making fun of, but like mimicking the Scream movie or Gremlins. When Phoebe Cates tells the story about why she doesn't like
very funny.
I mean,
I
well,
love
Gremlins too. I think is the funnier one where she does
why she doesn't like President's
Day and does the same story
yes.
about why. But
her dad dressed up like Abraham Lincoln.
Well, in the first one, it's
and then
like
they just cut him off. They just like whatever.
In the first one, it's like, what are you talking about? You don't like Christmas because your dad dressed up as Santa Claus and got stuck in the chimney and died.
I think that's such a funny. That I love.
It is
insane.
very Joe Dante. It is
Yes.
100%. The Howling, I think, is almost has The Howling to me is a horror comedy without being a comedy. Like, there are funny parts to that movie,
Yeah.
but they're in there to give you the chance to breathe, where this one, they think it's a horror comedy. And I thought there were definitely funny parts that I liked. You know, the meet cute, I think, is very good. I think it's very traditional, where they both order the same style, the exact same style of coffee.
Right. I'm rolling my eyes, right?
Right.
And then the barista says it's actually a very common drink.
Yeah.
That was legitimately like
Yeah.
that was funny. That's turning it like kind of
Yes.
on its head.
Yeah.
But then like her little monologue at dinner, that's like, you know, so sorry if I think love is blah, 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 blah. And it felt to me like they were trying to actually like, well, I kind of want to say this, so I'm gonna try.
It to me that felt like like something from.
But you think they're like.
I thought this whole movie
Poking.
was a parody, without being a parody. I did not think they were trying to be serious.
It walked a line. Like, it wasn't a full-on parody in a scary movie airplane kind
Yes.
of way.
Yeah.
But it was definitely very self-aware.
Actually, too, because there's the part where the friend, right, main
Who,
character,
man, I was hoping that character would die.
she does this.
Allie?
She
Is her name
calls
Allie?
her on the phone, and she's like, "Go to him," and then she says all these rom-com titles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the very end.
like it.
she
That
works them into a sentence. Where
right.
yeah.
And so I'm thinking, is like in the world of the movie, is the character doing this on purpose, or is it an accident? Because if
Oh, I see.
because
I see.
if we're an airplane, you know, if it's that kind of movie, then her doing it on, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm being like too.
No, but there's a whole scene at the end of this movie where Allie, who's our main character, is just like, I fucked up. Like, I had this great guy, yada, yada, yada. And then the best friend does start to rattle off
Right.
all of these probably iconic romantic comedies, but she's using the titles like in her
in a sentence that makes like sense. Right?
Yes,
And
yes.
right. That's so like. I guess I think even in the dumbest movie, it's like important that characters are like consistent.
Oh, that character's pretty consistently annoying.
Well, sure, but like she wouldn't do that. I don't know. I mean, and again, like if we're talking like Goofy Airplane, like all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way,
yeah.
then that's fine. Tell you what, Wayne's World. Now that's a movie that walks a line.
Wayne's World
in a
walks
way
a
that I think
very
it
tight
does it
line
very well.
and kills it, pun intended, because it's great.
Yeah.
It is great. So yeah, so they meet, and then she kind of like bashes, they bonk their heads when they pick something up, or she headbutts them in the nose on the way up again. And then they go, she's super embarrassed, which I did like, where she's just like, I gotta go, and like takes off. She goes and she is this like advertising marketing person for, I guess it's a jewelry company.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I think this is very funny.
pretty
I
good.
think this is very funny where
See, this part I didn't like.
Why?
Because while the ad is funny, the ad is a bad idea,
Yeah.
regardless of whether or not
Right,
there's a
right,
serial
right.
killer on the.
And is it maybe a better idea if there's a serial
I mean,
killer?
perhaps, yeah,
Yeah.
And like, because the ad was so she designed this ad to sell diamonds for this company, and the ad was all about like doomed
Yeah.
couple. So it's
Correct.
Bonnie and Clyde, it's Romeo and Juliet,
It's Jack
it's
and-
Jack and whatever
her
from
name
Titanic,
was, Kate Winslet.
yeah, and,
Rose?
Rose, it is Rose,
Thank
yeah.
you.
The Bonnie and Clyde one was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it was like, what are you doing?
Because they're all bleeding in these very like ribbons
ribbon,
come out
yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
it's very like artsy Calvin Klein
Yes.
commercial kind of a thing, but it's a well made spot.
It's very well made.
But I'm just like, but that's a bad idea, regardless of
Unless you're
the
doing it as a
serial-
gag.
But you don't.
But you don't do those-
advertise diamonds
Right.
with
That's
the
an SNL
jo-
gag.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, or the fake trailers in Tropic Thunder, right?
Or
But like
Grindhouse.
Tropic Thunder's like all the way
Right.
crazy. So for those movies to exist in the world of Tropic Thunder, sure, I'm all in.
yeah.
In this world, I'm just not so sure that would happen. So it's like this inconsistency that I guess like I'm never like fully in
Well,
the
she does.
movie.
She does have a comment. Like Allie says, "You approved it,"
Oh, sure.
and the gal's just like, "Well, I didn't really look at it. I believed in you."
Yeah.
So they. But I thought. I thought that was very funny. It's like just the ridiculousness of this ad, and then of course this the awful timing that now the Hard Eyes Killer, who is kind of Zodiac, he's kind of the Phantom from The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which if you haven't seen that, I cannot recommend either one of those enough. They're
I have
great.
not seen the remake.
It's not a it's very weird.
Okay.
So like the original movie exists in the
Oh,
movie.
I didn't
so,
know that.
Yeah. I like it. It's fun.
Because I know I'm a hated guest on this show.
Which is too bad because I think you're our most returning.
Yeah.
Which says something considering you didn't start appearing on the show until like 9 years in.
I think I wish it went all the way satire parody. I
You want to
it-
go all the way scary movie?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, that would be
I would hate it. I would have hated it.
where I would maybe not quite as crazy goof. Maybe more like Wayne's World, right? Like where it's a more heightened.
You are not wrong though. Is like Wayne's World walks a line that is razor thin, and it works because it's very well written. And you've got a cast, and nothing to take away from this cast. I think both Mason, is it Mason Gooding? No.
Yeah, because it's Cuba Gooding's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's Cuba Gooding's your new son.
Oh, well, okay. Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding, I think, are very good. I think they do have chemistry together, which is not always easy to get. I think Devin Sawa is just like when he shows up on screen, I was like,
Oh,
"Hey, man,
I
what's up, buddy? It's good to see you."
such a small. It seems like I feel like they introduced him like for all of us to go.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Devin Sawa, and then he doesn't have a ton
No.
going on.
Well, I don't like. He's definitely. I think he's in the new Final Destination.
Yeah.
I think, and he's been in the Chucky TV show.
right.
I think he's been on every season. No spoilers for that.
A different
I think.
character, right?
That is the wild part about that show is like actors play different
Yeah.
people. Like Jennifer Tilly plays herself, but also
Right.
the doll.
Tiff.
Tiffany, that's right. She is like, I can't, like, I'm getting fired. And then of course in traditional romantic comedy, the guy she flirted with in the beginning is the guy that the boss brings in to fix this campaign. And
Oh, a thing so as horror movies specifically, cell phones have caused a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Like, what do
Yeah.
you do? You got to call. You could just call the cops or
Right.
whatever. But I do
Or
love
film the slasher that
Right.
no one believes is out there. Yeah.
a thing that I have realized now that like, wow, this has made movies so much easier. So we set up in the beginning that she has just broken up with someone.
Yeah.
She can just open Instagram and go, like, you don't have to have a scene where they
yeah.
break up.
It expedites exposition.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
and believably, right? Like,
Right.
there's nothing that you're like, oh, here we go. They're how trite or whatever.
They don't need her best friend to go, you haven't been the same since you broke up with
Come on,
Luther.
let's get you out there. Yeah, you just open.
That's a good
Luther
point.
was a bank investor who didn't have a heart and was always mean to you, but not abusively mean. Just
Right.
mean.
Just mean
And
enough.
just mean enough for us to like be invested in this movie without it becoming a drama.
So yeah, cell phones have really hurt endings, but helped beginnings quite a bit.
It's a tough one because I think of like a Friday the 13th movie where it's like, oh, we're going to go to the woods. It's like, yeah, your cell phones won't work out there. So it'll work.
right. Sure.
Ideally. Like, for the most part, you can
Gosh,
get...
I thought we'd be past that.
No.
But at this point in time, I
Yeah,
would have thought-
there's a spot that I go to in
Oh, yeah.
Missouri.
Every year we hunt and kill our own Christmas tree.
Sure.
It's the closest I come to
Disgusting.
anything doing anything manly. I don't cut it down anymore because I have kids now, but I used to.
Right.
And it's out like near Herman, Missouri.
Yeah.
And every year I think, well, this will be the year my cell phone will work out here, and still
Right.
no,
Right.
still no. And I was like, how do you people live out here?
There's a spot I'm free at free
How
press
have all
for-
of you people fallen down the QAnon rabbit hole when there's no
Right.
Wi-Fi?
Oh, there's no
Right.
Wi-Fi.
How is
well,
that
I think
happening?
there is Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there's no cell.
There's
signal.
no cell signal.
Yeah.
So at Fox Springs Lodge, which is in Cuba, Missouri, it's a great little place to go. You drive down, like you drive through Cuba, Missouri, then you drive down into a valley, and once you get to a certain point in that valley, you're out.
Yeah.
Like that's you when we leave for the weekend, and we pull back onto the highway, Bella's phone and my phone just go like insane because everything starts coming
yeah.
through like after we get out of the valley.
Yeah, will we be watching movies from like this era 20 years from now, hopefully, and going, but why couldn't? Well, that's back when you couldn't get service everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
right.
That's back before we were all using Starlink.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time, I guess. So Allie realizes I'm gonna get fired. Like they hate this. They brought in this ringer to take care of this, and I'm gonna get fired. So this is because I do think there are some funny bits where Allie and her best friend are in the bathroom, and they're she's like, I cannot believe this, blah blah blah, and then Mason Gooding walks in, Jay. And she's just like, what are you doing? Like, this is the girls' bathroom. He's like, actually,
It's a
it's a unisex bathroom. And she's just like, God damn it. And like has to go out. He kind of forces a date.
Woke culture.
It's woke culture, man. Very, not, I guess, chauvinist or toxic masculinity a little bit where he's like, no, I'll meet you at this restaurant at 8. And she's like, and just kind of has to agree to it.
They're also not pissing or anything, so it's okay.
They're just she's
just
the
hanging
friend
out.
is sitting on the toilet and Allie
Well,
is like washing her hands.
If you look at the bathroom, it is a unisex bathroom.
is. There-
So-
each bathroom stall.
Yep.
It is not a stall. It is a cubicle. It's
Right.
It's
Floor to
completely
ceiling.
floor to ceiling door, and then you exit that, and then there's a sink, a shared space for washing
This
your hands.
is an example. Now, look, I'm going too hard. I get it, but she would know that. She knows
Yes.
it's a unisex
She would
bathroom.
not.
correct.
Yes, she would not call it a girl's bathroom.
Right.
I agree with that.
And again, this is just but that kind of thing happens a ton of times where if you went just a little more heightened, I could have totally let it go. But at this point, I'm like, this is like a real person in a fairly grounded world, sort of. She would know her office has unisex bathrooms.
right.
Also, I think it's funny. Right after this, the boss comes in and the girl's like, "You just fired me," and I went, "No, she did."
Yeah, no, she didn't.
say that.
She never said
and then
that.
she says, "No, I didn't."
You have 6 months left on your
Yeah.
contract, and I'm going to squeeze you for every drop
Yeah.
that you've got. So she goes to this. There's in rom-com fashion. There's the two girls go shopping, and they're picking out an outfit that basically Allie's going to wear for the rest of the movie. I don't think she
And
ever
then
changes.
Okay, again, a question here. So what made this not just? Is it a joke that they're doing a montage, a dressing up montage?
I think it's absolutely a joke that they're doing a dressing up montage.
What's the joke? I mean, I know they
It's-
wear outfits from
I-
movies. Like there's like Romeo and Michelle, which is not a rom-com. It's kind of interesting, and I think kind of a Clueless outfit at first. It's not, but it's
You mean
kind
like
of.
a Cher outfit?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, it's not the same thing, but I figured that was the
I
illusion.
don't like rom-coms for the most part. I think they're dumb. But traditionally, I feel like there is like the two
Yes.
friends go shopping for an outfit for the date.
So is it a joke to just do it?
Yes,
Why?
because I think it's a trope in rom-coms,
Right, but like,
which is why I think this movie is.
but that's sort of, but they just did it, right? Like that's not like.
Yeah, what's the difference between
Like-
doing it and making fun of it if the making fun of it is just you doing it?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think they put it in the movie because it is in traditional rom-coms.
Right.
So
I don't even remember the scene.
yeah, they're talking about how she's like, no, I'll pay for the drinks. Like you're 25 grand in debt, and she's like, no, I got this
Right.
the sponsor,
Yes,
which I did think was a
that's-
funny. She's
yeah.
like, the sugar daddy joke. She's like, that's offensive. He's my sponsor. And then she apparently has his credit card. They think she's going on this date with Jay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then she's like, you're not wearing that, are you? And she was like, no. But she ends up wearing almost the exact same thing.
Well, and like, I mean, she just does all the rom-com things. Like, she puts on something too like skimpy, and she's like, "This is too skimpy," and the friend's like,
Yeah, pull the dress up.
And
a
then
little
she wears
bit.
like a big flower. Another joke. It's another problem I have with like comedies. the boss does that thing where she's like, and if you don't do it, I'll kill you. No, I won't. Or will I?
Yeah.
Maybe I will. It's like, you're just doing a joke. Like, this is like you coming in and saying, so a horse walks into a bar.
Right.
It's like, I've heard this,
I think
man.
they were trying to like red herring us, like maybe she's the killer.
Yeah. And that they do that a lot in this movie. I think every character you meet is supposed to be a red herring.
Yeah.
100%.
I guess I get that.
I don't know. My
Okay,
wife
all
called
right.
the killer instantly.
If you can tie it to another thing,
But we don't
I might
see
let it
the
slide.
killer until the end of the movie.
Like when the IT guy asked her out, she's like, he's the killer.
I called the one that they kill first. I was like, that's Alan. Trust me.
I told Matt, I thought it was going to be her and the mom. Like when they're talking about, and then when so there's a scene where they arrest Mason Gooding and they think he's the bad guy. And when Allie shoots through the glass and completely misses him,
That was fun.
Yeah.
100%. I was like, well, she's not aiming for the killer. Like she's just making it look like she's shooting. And then she gives it like, so they're at this dinner and she gives this long speech about how her dad died and her mom never really found love again. And it was just kind of like this thing. And I was like, well, there we go. Like it's going to be them taking out these people that have fallen. It's going to be the mom and the daughter because they make a comment earlier in the movie. We should say Jordana Brewster and Devin Sawa are these two cops named Hobbs and Shaw, which Matt and I both go Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, they're like the movie?
Yeah, I just
Which I wish they didn't do.
Yeah, just leave it.
Let it happen.
Let it breathe.
Like, it's kind of that Marvel thing, right? Of like always just being like, and that was a joke, guys. Hey, yeah, we're joking, we're goofing.
So yeah, where was I going with that? Oh, every character we're introduced to, everybody is a red herring, I think, and that's the Scream thing. And they do that in Scream, where it's just like, well, is it Randy or is it
Right.
Stu? Spoilers. It is.
That's he's right.
But I think, and then obviously the Scream movies do that even more so, like as you go further in those movies, where they're just throwing, you've got all these different characters that are coming in and out of these movies. And this one is you've got the IT guy, you've got both detectives, you've got Mason Gooding, who is Jay, has been in each city where the Hard Eyes murders have taken place. But you see, again, much like Scream, you see Jay in the same room with the killer, but the killer doesn't really do any damage to Jay. Like they're fighting, but he's not getting stabbed. He's not getting.
This is a movie problem in general. They have to figure out a better way for someone to swing an object at someone and miss. It's just when you're like, I think if the guy didn't move, you still would have missed it. And other times you're so good at it.
Yes, you could. Well, that's again. There's the scene at the end of the movie, right? So she picks up this gun in the police station. She fires 10 rounds and misses every single one. But at the end of the movie,
she's a perfect
shot through his shoulder into her stomach.
She pulls a 48 hour
Exactly.
But that was an accident, right? She didn't mean to shoot him at all.
Absolutely, she meant to shoot him.
No.
Yes.
She says, she's like, sorry.
She's like, I'm really sorry about this. Pow.
No, she goes, I'm sorry I overcorrected after that.
Oh.
I think she was just trying to shoot the woman and she's a bad
I thought
shot.
she was shooting through him.
That's what I thought. Yeah, like when Eddie Murphy gets shot.
Yeah.
Was it 48 hours or another 48 hours?
There's that one, and then there's Speed.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you're getting a medal for shooting me, you little
Die
shit.
Hard. Remember Die Hard 4?
Yes.
No.
I mean, I do remember Die Hard 4.
And actually, it's PG
13.
and
Yeah.
they cover up the. Sorry, Kevin. With a gun, he shoots through
Yes,
himself.
you're right. Yippee-ki-yay, mother. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I like that.
No,
4 is good. 5
don't-
is trash.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think she meant to shoot through him. I
Okay.
think she was like just trying to shoot the lady.
Shoot
Because
the lady.
she says to him, "Sorry, I overcorrected."
You're right. She does say that. You're right. So, yeah. So, like, our characters, this Hard Eyes killer is stalking people for a couple days over Valentine's Day in multiple cities. He arrives in Seattle. This movie was
Like
actually
every year he picks a different city.
correct. I guess we should say they pick a different city.
Yes. Because
think
you're
it may-
woke.
I'm woke.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know
Yeah.
the gender.
I guess that's true.
Our
think it
killer
might
is non-binary.
just be Valentine's Day. I
Yeah,
don't
You
know.
think it's just on the
I
day?
think it was
think
just
it is.
on Valentine's
Okay.
Day.
Okay. So we get the first kill. Then he's killed some other people at a spa. I do like the joke where the ex like they're on this not work date thing. They walk outside, and of course they run into Allie's ex-boyfriend. And I think this is very like Mason Gooding does have very good timing. I think his comedic timing is very good. Where like the ex-boyfriend's like, oh, we were gonna go on this date, this double date, but like they didn't. He's like, and he's like, what do you mean by that? And they were like, oh, they were the couple at the spa that got killed. And he's just like, and you kept the reservation? He's like, well, that's good food. He's like, all right. And like he's very. I think his dad is also very funny, but he kind of started to lean into the wackiness and
Yeah.
like the goofiness comedy. But I think he's very funny in Jerry Maguire. Not funny as O.J. Simpson.
And everything else.
Oh boy. So the deal is Hard Eyes was going to kill her ex-boyfriend, but when they saw the kiss between Allie and Jay, they're like, that's true love.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah,
It's our favorite kind.
that's the best kind.
She runs out and kisses the fella.
She runs out. They're in a conversation. She sees the ex-boyfriend.
Did she see the ex-boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why she kisses
Yeah,
him.
that's why she kisses him, because she doesn't want to look like she's
So-
alone on
Right,
Valentine's
right.
Day in
I
front of the boyfriend.
missed her see the boyfriend, I guess. Because then they're like kissing and they like pull apart and the boyfriend's there. And
Yeah.
I thought that was like a reveal.
It would have been like you can see the look on her face. Like
I think it was a
oh,
reveal to the audience, right?
Okay.
Like, this is why
Probably.
she's kissing him because
then
of the ex-boyfriend.
The first time she said that was, I just did that because my ex-boyfriend was there. I thought she was like, she went out and kissed him because she wanted to, and then she was like telling him and herself that.
Oh,
but
I see,
She
I
didn't
see.
actually see him, and I
Yeah,
Okay.
when they're talking, you can see a car pull up, and you can hear the doors open, and you can see
And
her
she
reaction.
see- okay,
It's
okay.
the reaction shot is from Mason Gooding's back, so you can see her
Gotcha.
face change, and then she goes.
so that
in
is
for the kiss.
legitimately why she did.
Yes.
that. Okay.
Yes. So then they go back to her place. She forgets her keys. They go inside. Hard Eyes is gonna kill them both. There's a long chase sequence where Hard Eyes is just murking people. He kills the taxi driver. He ends up. Oh, I guess it's just the taxi driver at this point. It's not until we get to the drive-in when they are just. And
Yeah.
this is Freddy versus Jason
Yeah.
in the cornfield, where Jason's just like mowing people down
Right.
left and right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's what it is.
are we there? Are we at that? Are we talking about
I mean,
that?
I think we're there. They go to the police station. They get locked up. The cops, Devin Sawa and Jordana Brewster, kind of start pinning this whole thing on Jay because they're like, we found this mess. I do like so there's a fight between Jay and Hard Eyes, and Jay gets kind of knocked backwards, and Allie bolts, and I was like, that's the right move.
But doesn't he chase her?
No.
I thought he like even turned around and.
No, I think
man,
because he says that you
I
left
wasn't
me.
watching this. I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm going like, well, wait, because he was at she ends up at like a carnival and he's there.
One of them is there.
Well, but she doesn't.
Because they say later, I almost had you in the apartment, and then the other guy's like, I had you down.
But from the perspective of her, she's being chased by a killer.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
Yes.
look, I swear it has Jay on the ground and then turns to look at her, and that's when she runs away. It's just, look.
Maybe, because he's like, you left me there. And she's like, no, I didn't. I didn't leave you
Right,
there.
and that's how I felt. I felt like, I thought you guys were like, she basically lured him away, even if not.
oh, see, I took it
intentionally.
as like, you left him there. And she even says, she's like,
She does-
later, she goes, I have a confession.
Yeah.
I left you. I ditched you. I ditched you. Which I thought was funny. Like, I think that's funny.
So, and also, the Hard Eyes killer knocked Jay out,
Yes.
took him to the carnival, put the mask on him, and put a knife in his hand.
No, I think they say that they found the stuff like around him.
Okay.
Because then they're like, we got him.
Okay.
And then-
well, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
We see Jordana Brewster and Devin Sawa. They're like, it's him. And she's like, no, it's not.
Right.
Like, it is funny that now that we once we know who the killers are, and she's like, "What are you talking about? Like he was with me the whole time." They're like, "Nah, here's the knife, here's the mask,
Right.
here's this ring. You lose." So they go to the police station. This is where Hard Eyes. This is actually a fun. Is this the night vision scene?
Yeah.
Which I think this is fun. I like this mask a lot. It's a pretty well done mask that's got like hard eyes, and then they turn on.
Yeah,
to
they light
glow,
up.
which is cool, and then it gives them like night vision, which is very Silence of the Lambs. Like the ending sequence of Silence of the Lambs is very, very similar to this. Devin Sawa gets his dick chopped off.
Chopped in half.
I guess that's true.
It depends. I guess it depends on which way he was.
Which way they call that dressing. How do you dress to the
Yes,
left or
yes,
to the
yes.
right?
What if you just let it do its thing?
Right in the middle?
I mean, just wherever it falls, it falls.
Well, but it tends to fall one direction
called
or the other.
ambidextrous.
Is that what it is?
No, it's ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
I expected better of you, Matt. I shouldn't
Laid
have
it up.
I shouldn't
You
have
had
to
it.
spoon feed you these dick jokes.
Kevin, fix this way. That's called ambidextrous.
I don't know. I don't know if he listens to this because I told him to cut something out and he didn't.
He just left in the part where he said cut it. Although sometimes we say cut it out because we're being silly.
Yeah,
and
right.
We don't really want him
No,
to cut it out. We
mine
just-
was legitimately cut that out.
Yeah.
Joey Gladstone used to do that.
You did. Yeah, cut it out.
Well, I didn't realize that was Joey's last name on
Oh,
Full
yeah.
House.
Yeah. Uncle Joey.
I never really watched Full House.
Oh, man.
Okay, I know the next Patreon.
Yeah,
we're gonna
we're-
watch through.
Including Fuller House. We're
Oh,
going to do
yeah.
all of it.
Well, I mean, also keep in mind it started when I was like 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like,
Okay.
like it wasn't.
Was that part of TGI? That wasn't part of TGI.
I think it
was it?
became
Oh,
part of
yeah.
TGI.
Okay,
I don't think
okay.
it was originally, and I think then they moved it to Fridays and
built everything around
built
it.
it around
It
it.
was their friends.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But I feel bad saying I don't watch Full House because, like I know Andrea Barber, Kimmy.
Oh,
Gibbons.
sure.
And she's been on
Yeah.
the Clip Out
That's right.
multiple times.
Yeah.
We're Facebook friends. She follows me on
We
Twitter.
should probably get on that.
So
Watch them.
that's a lot of
get-
TV
get
to
some-
catch up on, though.
They're only 30 minutes. Well, probably 24 because there's no commercials.
Yeah, but
Ran for a long time.
it ran for like 8 or 9 years.
Yes, it did.
Although
I
I'm
mean-
currently on season 7 of Newhart.
Oh, okay. I'm rewatching Justified for the 4th time. It's great. I love Timothy Olyphant. The more of that, the better. Which is kind of he auditioned for Iron Man.
I think probably a lot of people auditioned.
Well, he was like one of the last ones.
It's like how many people auditioned for Han Solo.
That's true. That's
There's
a good
lot.
point. Yeah, he was on Conan. This is an old episode where he was just like, "Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear back. We'll
Yeah.
see if it,
Yeah.
there's a lot of red tape that goes into those things, and
Maybe I'll become a gazillionaire. Or
yeah, I don't know.
maybe I'll just keep making
Keep making this TV
basic
show.
cable TV shows.
Yeah, that still works.
Yeah.
So there's this big chase. Hard Eyes is in the I guess that's true. Allie is approached by this random IT guy
Yeah.
who's just like, "Hey, I know this is weird, but do you want to get coffee?" And she's like, "No,
I
it's
do not."
been a long night for me." And he's like, "No, that makes total sense." Hard Eyes kind of. I also do like, sometimes in the Friday the 13th movies, they have to explain why there's nobody around, right? Like the only time there's ever been kids at that camp is part 4, I think. And they've had to explain that, like, because there's never kids at the camp.
Is it 4? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
There's one movie. There's
Right.
one where the kids are at the camp, and that's it. And
Maybe 6. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But it's got a great line where the one kid's like, "You know what? We're dead meat," and they're just like kids in a cabin being stalked by Jason, which is very scary.
Because 4 is the 2 houses, where the
4 is
Corey
the
Feldman's in the one house with
Yep.
his mom and sister.
oh maybe
and then
it is
they're
6.
Partying in the
Yeah, 5 is not Jason.
right.
Oh, maybe it is 6. Maybe you're right. 7
And
is
also,
7
like,
is Takes Manhattan.
As far as like to do with Hard Eyes, it like, doesn't matter. It, like really doesn't
No, it
matter.
doesn't matter. But they have to explain why there are no cops in the police station at all. There's
Yeah.
the desk sergeant.
They're
and
all
there's
out
the 2
celebrating
because they
Yeah.
caught. I was like, that's funny.
I
think
guess they
that's-
don't catch criminals very often.
not in Seattle
We
/
got
New
one.
Zealand. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got one.
Well, Seattle's a small town.
and
Tiny little
and they're
town.
so woke. They don't
Right.
arrest criminals
They
Right.
they
Seattle.
try to rehabilitate
Right.
them.
So like
Well, that's probably a good idea.
No, it is absolutely.
That'd be kind of a neat thing to
Maybe not
to
hard
try.
eyes,
Right.
but you
Oh, what if
know,
you could?
I
What if
don't
you
think
could?
you can. I don't think so. So obviously we think they've killed everybody in the police station. Our main characters run to this fair kind of thing. Also, the drive-in.
it's the drive-in Valentine's
But I also
Day
think
special.
the fair and a drive-in in February in Seattle, it's got to be freezing, right?
One
I don't know
would
what
think.
I don't know what the temperature is like up
The
there.
fair at least seems to be closed. The drive-in, this
Like super packed.
the season would be over for the drive.
All right. I can see like a special occasion, right? A Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Today in
you know?
Seattle, it's a high of 41 with a low of 28. And we're recording this on February 9th.
Oh no way! Absolutely not.
No. I know
kinda-
that my body temperature is different. Like
I
I
guess
will
keep
wear,
my car running.
wear shorts all year round if I could.
Just a dumb movie thing. Like killers in movies always very modeled after Michael Myers, Jason
Sure,
Voorhees,
sure.
Leatherface, right? Who are all of diminished mental capacity.
Yes.
And in these movies,
This is Ghostface.
it's just a guy, right? But he acts like a monster.
Yeah, the stalking and like the
walking like that, and like there's a part where he goes to swing at her and she like moves her legs out of the way, and then he like looks up at her and this like
Well, that's got to be a reference to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, right? When he goes
Maybe.
to cut stretch in half, and he gets
yeah
like he's trying to cut through the ice, or he's like she's got her leg,
this is in the
it's like in the radio
recording-
station.
yeah.
I think that's a direct reference to that.
But it's just so then right there like, oh no, we just led him to an all-you-can-kill buffet, and it's like he's a guy, like he can look up.
We
that
think
there's
that,
a-
and then he just starts slaughtering people. He is just walking through the drive-in, just
Right.
cutting people up.
But so it's why did they didn't even pick these? They picked these people because they saw him kiss.
Yeah, and they thought it was true love.
It's just
It's ridiculous.
a little, and again, like, is that a joke? But I
Yeah.
don't think it is, though.
I honestly think this whole movie is a joke. It is an attempt at a joke. How about that? At a parody of the Hallmark rom-coms.
and then maybe I would have.
right, because she was supposed to be a doctor and she quit because she didn't like the sight of blood.
Right.
That is 100%
That
a
is- yeah.
rom-com trope.
And I mean that ties into slashers. You know what it feels like a little bit. You know how you've seen The Room.
Yeah.
And you know how now he's like, oh, it was a joke the whole
Yeah,
time.
right,
And, like, it kind of feels like they just want the ability to go like, dude, come on, we're goofing around.
I could see that argument. Like, there was something else that we had talked about where, like, they retroactively said this was supposed to be whatever this is. And it's like, yeah, you're saying that now.
And
But
maybe
at the time, you did not think that.
I guess, and I feel like things being like unironic. What's the word I'm trying to think? Like, not sentimental. Sometimes words don't work for me, but it's like when you can't do something sincere.
Yeah.
You then say it's parody, you say it's comedy. But I think I guess I do sort of in a way take comedy more seriously than that. You can't just do something poorly and call it comedy. Or well, you can.
Oh, no, I see. You can't go into doing something with some sincerity, and then when it doesn't work and you get laughed at, you're like, no, that's what I was trying to do.
And like I think sometimes people do start from like, well, I know we can't make a good horror movie, so we'll just do it funny.
But
it's like, but you're not good at being funny.
But I disagree, though, because the creative team on these movies are good at being funny. Freaky is a funny movie. Happy Death Day is a funny movie.
Happy Death Day is the only one of those I've seen, and I don't love it, but I do think it is successful in what it does. And
Yeah.
I think it is tonally consistent in a way that I think works.
Freaky is Freaky Friday, except the final girl gets body swapped with the serial killer. And the serial
this to
killer is
me-
Vince Vaughn, and it's
has
I think
that
it's very
vibe.
funny.
I think a lot of like low budget horror that's made today is a real bummer to me. And I love cheesy 80s movies.
Yeah.
But I feel like there is a sincerity in those, even when they are funny unintentionally.
You think that you think the creative team is trying to make a good movie?
In the 80s, I think
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
all the time, right? And then sometimes they're bad, and that's funny, and I do like that. I think there is a thing currently, and like since like the 2000s, when you know, I mean, films are very expensive, but it became like cheaper to maybe make like a digital like get in, right? Which again, those are still
Yeah.
very expensive, but that like Sharknado was one of the first ones where I was like, everyone's like going like, oh my gosh, Sharknado.
They're terrible.
I've never watched it. People are like, "You like Mystery Science Theater 3000? You'll love that." I'm like, "No, I like a bad movie that's trying to be a good they are either incompetent or
Right.
their premise they thought was great and they just wildly missed the mark." Like that's fun to watch, a creative endeavor that is just not achieving what it wanted to do, but is still entertaining
Fun to watch.
because it's not working.
Yeah.
Like, but to purposefully make a bad movie to be like, haha, look at the bad movie we made. That like, and I even like a good campy movie.
For sure.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's not what Sharknado is trying to
And
do.
I think
No.
campy. I guess what I'm saying too is that I think those things do take a level of art.
Yeah.
There's an art and there's a craft.
Absolutely.
The
to
fact that
And
Wes Craven and who's the writer of Scream?
Kevin Williamson.
Kevin Williamson, thank you. They are able to walk the Wayne's World line,
Right.
where
Yeah.
it is self-referential, it is funny, it is scary, it's all of the things that you want those movies to be. And if you watch the tone shift, 1 through 4 of the Scream franchise have a very specific tone, and it works almost every time. 5 and 6 have a different tone
For sure.
because Radio Silence has a different sense of humor than Wes Craven does. And those work still because they're kind of they're doing the same thing that Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson were doing, but just in a different tone, right? And I don't know. And Michael Kennedy and Chris Landon have their own voice, and I think they've got a very good voice. I think their voice is honestly important because I don't know that there's a lot of. I know that I'm not going to speak for Michael Kennedy because I don't know, but I know that Chris Landon is openly gay. And I think that he has a very specific voice that should be heard that doesn't sound like anybody else, right? Like he doesn't sound like David Gordon Green, thank God. But he doesn't sound like Jordan Peele.
What has David Gordon Green done?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
He's done
All right.
one really good movie. The other two are fine.
I'd love to talk about it.
Let's
made one-
do it.
movie by accident. That was really good.
Right. Other two were perfectly fine.
Got our hopes up.
They that you know what, that is true. Did get our hopes up. Still love those movies because they got my character in it. I'm not allowed.
Halloween.
Yes, of course.
Look, man, I love the Monkees. But like, there are some albums out there that'll be like, that's trash.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Yeah.
We talked about the guy that did Barbarian has a style,
Krager.
Zach Krager, who has a style of comedy that is different than Jordan Peele. So I do think that the creators of this have the ability to be funny, to be scary, to be sincere. I just don't know that this, again, I think this is a parody of all of those.
Can you? You say the creators did they write and direct? All
They
of
did
those
not
in this?
direct. I think Chris Landon did a final rewrite on this,
Okay.
I believe. And I think Michael Kennedy is a producer on this. But those two guys have done some very, again, Happy Death Day, Freaky, It's a Wonderful Knife, Totally Killer, all that stuff. So they have this formula where they are mashing up genres, and I think they tried it here. To me, I think they succeeded.
That's also, I think I've just sort of taken on the role of the guy that didn't like this. It's not that bad. I would say, like, if you want to go do a Valentine's Day thing,
Yeah.
this is a good thing to. I had fun watching it.
Yeah.
I think if you get to like July and you haven't seen it yet, don't like stress about it.
Right.
You know? Maybe
Well,
pick it up in February, but I think there's better February
I
horror,
think
or
there are.
February Valentine.
I
horror
think there's
movies to watch.
one that is absolutely. There's two that are spectacular. Unfortunately, that's the same movie.
Touche.
Yes.
My Bloody Valentine. Right?
That's exactly
Okay.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, the 81 and then the My Bloody Valentine 3D.
I feel like this happens to be listening to podcasts, and I'm going, "What movie? Say it!"
Also, Valentine works. I think Valentine.
That's the 2000s.
Yeah, got
yeah.
kind of swallowed up, but I think Valentine is also pretty good. So they run into this drive-in. There's these two people that are again having loud sex in the back of this van that they sneak into.
Broke into.
They did break into this van, and they're telling them like, "Hey, you shut up!" And they're like, "Well, you are in their van."
Yeah, in their van.
Again, a great kill where Hard Eyes kills the guy with the tire iron,
and
then pulls her down onto
her-
I was
her
like,
head.
"That's a
Yeah.
good one. I like
Also,
that."
Now they have a sincere conversation in the front of the car,
Yeah,
the van, while their sex noises are like interjecting.
yes,
Yeah.
I liked that.
And that was pretty good. Like I felt like that tone was right. Like
Right.
that's where we should have been, and I feel like they've missed that mark a lot.
I see
for
what you're
me,
saying.
This scene was like what I think more of it.
That
should
scene
have.
to me is like something out of Airplane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
where it's like they're having this conversation, and then the sex noises give you the correct response of whatever
Right.
question
And-
the other person's asking.
Right. So like maybe not like Airplane and Scary Movie, right? Like those are a little further. This would be the whatever.
No, I think
I'm sorry. I'm
no. I see
not whatever to you. Whatever to me. Going off on another.
I don't think Scary Movie would do something, but Airplane would do something where it's like these two people are having a
Oh,
conversation.
for sure. I'm just saying like Airplane is further into
Airplane has
unreality.
no sincerity of any
None
kind. Like,
whatsoever.
there is a storyline,
Yeah.
but like none. There are no stakes. There's no.
No.
There's no moment where, even though there's a romantic subplot, it's never even remotely taken serious.
Captain Crunch could walk in and then
Yeah.
and you
walk
just
out,
accept
and he's
it.
gone.
Right.
Right.
You know she was Lois Lane?
Captain Crunch.
No, the love interest in Airplane. She played Lois Lane in like the stage play of Superman.
Oh, that Superman musical. Julia Haggerty.
Julia Haggerty, yeah.
Yeah.
So they end up killing this one, and they take the. I do like this, where they take the mask off. They're like, "Who's that?" They're like, "I have no idea."
Why would they?
Right. Yeah, but you know, in these movies, you see like Stu or Randy or Jill or Charlie or whoever. Roman. And keep going with
Spoilers.
Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real spoilers.
Yeah, I don't care. So they go to the police station. Or I guess she's like, all right, I'll see you later. Mason Gooding is getting on an airplane to leave.
He leaves
town.
with
He leaves with Jordana Brewster because Devon Sawa has been murdered.
There's a couple of funny things here. I think the ambulance driver being like, I have another call. I have to take the blankets.
Takes the blankets. That's something out of an Airplane movie.
That was
like I agree that is
legitimately, like, a funny
and she's just standing there. Then she goes home. She gets the phone call from her friend. This is where we get all of the rom-com.
I don't think you're right
What?
about Julia Haggerty being. in
Then
that.
who was in the Superman stage play?
It was called
Captain
It's a Bird, It's a Plane.
Yeah.
And
Who was in the TV version of that then?
the ABC TV special was Leslie Ann Warren.
That's it.
okay.
Sorry.
So he was right.
No, yeah, Leslie Ann
On
Warren.
Broadway, it was Patricia Moran.
Okay.
And Linda Lavin was in the Broadway version playing
Should I know who that is?
Sydney.
Prescott?
I don't believe so.
Now I got bad eyes.
Yeah.
Can't see worth a darn.
Okay.
Did that taxi cab have a lit up thing on top for Freddy's Revenge?
Oh my God, did it?
Courtney thought so too.
Oh well, she is younger than us.
There were red stripes,
The-
and I swear it said Freddy's Revenge, and I just don't know why it would.
Which one is that
That's
two?
That's two.
All of the creators of this movie are gay.
Oh? And that movie is
Nightmare 2
very
is
gay.
very gay. Whether they knew what they were doing or not, that is a very gay movie.
And if you want my woke credentials, I was always singing the praises of
2.
Freddy's 2. It's not bad. It's a good movie.
But there was a long time where people said that's the worst one, and I was like, I love it.
If they are subversively doing some shit in that movie, that is pretty fantastic.
And what a weird part 2 to just remember all those rules we set up? Well, it doesn't work
Gone.
like that anymore.
Get rid of them all. If it does say that, I think that's exactly why.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I'll have to. This is one that I would like to go back and rewatch and try to find all the, because I have no doubt these guys put in a bunch of Easter eggs that we didn't even see. So she gets a phone call. Like she goes to the airport to catch up with him. I'm gonna go get him. Hugs the guy. I do like the reaction of this guy where he's just like, all right, like that was awkward. Gets the phone call, goes to this church. This is the reveal that Jordana Brewster and the IT guy are both hard eyes, in Scream fashion.
Her not recognizing the IT guy.
Fine.
Funny.
I like it because she only does see him for like 2 minutes.
And she was dismissive of him.
Correct.
And I think that's another where they kind of got it right. Like that tone, I thought that was fun. That was good.
So what happens if she said, yeah, I'll go to get that coffee with you? What happens?
Yeah, I know.
then?
I was wondering that too. Although I guess they were open to the idea of a throuple.
Sure.
That's true. And they were trying to say, hey, try it on for size. Kill
Yeah.
this guy and see what you think about it.
Yeah.
Now if they'd said all that, all of it,
Sure.
like saying like, hey, we want to bring you in, that makes the ending better for me, because bringing her to that church to kill him just sounds so out of their like MO.
Yeah.
Because even the other guy, I keep calling him Alan. I don't know if that's really his name.
The other hard
The
eyes?
third guy, like he was like
yeah.
a fanboy of Hard Eyes. So
Yes.
I'm sure.
And I
sought
do like
them
that your other hard eyes guy calls it a thruple. And she's like, well, you guys were together. He's like, no, we weren't. It's like, well, bitch, you called yourselves
Yeah.
a thruple.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that means. Then we get a pretty ridiculous fight sequence where everybody, the way I thought this was going to go is we were going to get a real hard eyes. Is they knock the one guy back into the candles and all this wax falls on his face. And I was like, well, there we go. Like he's going to have like a real,
The mask is
is
permanent.
permanent. Exactly. So she fights Jordana Brewster, and Jordana Brewster dies in a way that I was like, that was dope. She gets pushed back onto a statue of St. Valentine's, and then her head slowly starts to like detach from her body, and you see all like the sinewy and all the stuff.
As they have said that they like St. Valentine because he was beheaded.
He was beheaded. And
Which is weird because typically you get head on Valentine's Day.
well, you hope
you
so.
do? Try getting married.
We saw this movie together, so
Not on Valentine's
No,
Day.
Valentine's Day.
oh, well, see you on Valentine's Day.
Hey.
I think this scene is great. I think this it looks practical. It doesn't look like there's digital effects. I think from what I've heard, like most of this was practical. Her head just slowly starts to detach from her body, and then the body slumps, and then the head just kind of
I
rolls
thought that was
off.
a little fat shaming
I don't think so.
because I'm woke.
Yeah, right. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
So what? She's so fat she just
That her
can't
head
she
can't
can't
stay attached.
support her head when
Yeah, she's
her
too
neck's been halfway
she's too
severed.
smart. Like her head's too big. And you know the two lovers kind of reunite. The one killer comes back for one big scare, and Mason Gooding puts an arrow right through his face.
Hey, are those retractable arrows? Is that a real thing?
I don't know, but it was great.
It was cool looking though.
It was cool looking, and when I saw Hard Eyes do it in the beginning, like he pulls one out and
Yeah.
extends. I was like, that is that real? Why would that's kind of stupid? But then when he uses it, he like holds it up to his head and pushes the
Pops
button,
it.
and it goes through his eye. Like that's the kind of stuff where if like you do a dumb thing, but then there's like a reason later,
Yeah.
I can be like, now I don't care if it's real or not. If,
Right.
if you just did it to be cool,
As comic book guys, like we've been trained to not question trick arrows.
No,
Right.
No,
Yeah.
there's two very prominent superheroes.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got? A boxing glove in there?
Sure.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying they're
Makes
not. I
sense.
mean,
Got
they may
handcuffs?
very well be completely real. So I'm not.
I have no idea,
but
but it was cool.
interacting like I know.
It was it was a cool gag.
Cool arrow.
Then we flash forward a year.
Yes.
They have successfully they saved the Diamond Company with their gimmick
Yay.
ad. I like that this scene it's a year later. They're back again, very poor planning on Mason Gooding's, on Jay's part, to go back to the scene of a mass murder only a year later.
To propose.
No. To
Well,
give her a key to his,
yeah.
which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't want to live with you. And he was just like, what? What are you talking about? And then she proposes. And then we get a phone call, very traditional end of the movie horror trope. And it's her best friend.
Who's taking a picture.
Who's taking a
just like
picture.
the beginning.
And she got it. And she got the picture. That's how this ends.
Now I want to say, I would have walked out of this movie liking it a little bit more if he opened that ring box and an arrow went right through his head. The
Because you're a Steve Martin fan.
Yeah.
From the side.
He's a wild and crazy guy.
Wild and crazy
Oh
guy.
yeah, no, it's he opens that box and then she screams, and I would have gone like, that was bold.
It's Freddie pulling the mom through the door.
Yes,
You
yes.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of fun.
I had fun with this.
I had a lot of fun with it.
I don't necessarily disagree with any of your critiques. I
No.
just didn't care.
Yeah,
Like, I was like,
yeah.
this
I
works.
think this is the perfect movie to not care and just to enjoy or have fun with it.
Yeah.
Again, My Bloody Valentine from 1981, the remake, My Bloody Valentine 3D, Valentine. I was trying to think if there was any other like Valentine related horror flicks, and I don't really think that there are.
There's coming to his-
Cupid. There's one called Cupid.
Oh, from the 80s?
I don't remember. I just remember there's one called Cupid.
My Bloody Valentine's the best you're gonna get. Both
Yeah.
of them are absolutely fantastic. The remake has no business being.
I believe Jonathan Lithgow's Raising Cain is set around Valentine's Day.
That is a tough movie to get through.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that is a bad movie. That's a bad one. Yeah, this is totally fun. It's gonna get swallowed up next week. This is gonna get forgotten
Captain
about.
America's gonna
Captain
frog
America
stomp
is
this
gonna
movie.
like beat the shit out of everything. But it's got a Red Hulk in it, so that's Valentine's Day.
Oh, I see.
I
yeah.
thought, okay, I missed
Yeah.
more than I thought in
No.
this movie. I think I would say see it for Valentine's Day.
Is-
Like if you're
yes.
not going to see it around this
Yeah.
time, then wait until
Wait.
next year.
Wait, it'll be $5 on Fandango at home by then.
There's a lot of movies that we have covered that I'm just like, that's out already.
Yeah,
Like, holy.
the window, especially if it underperforms, or
Yeah,
like
get
fuck
it out.
put it on video,
it out.
Put it on VOD.
Yeah, I think that Craven came out like 2 weeks after our
Yeah.
episode dropped.
I know that that Mark Wahlberg movie came out like 3 weeks later.
Did it really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
There we go.
But anyway, I guess that's it for this one. Let's go around the table and everyone can say where to find them.
I host a podcast with my friend Joe. It's called
Yeah.
Real Spoilers Patreon. Right now we're in the middle of a series where we're kind of highlighting the movies based on SNL characters. Because it's SNL's 50th season,
Yeah.
and we just wanted to take a look at those. Do they hold up? Do they not? It's been a lot of fun. We've had some great guests. Actually, Tom, great guest. Tom from Real Spoilers has been on.
Yeah. Great insight.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I learned a bunch of stuff, and I can't say for certain, but I think you will too. So check it out. Real Spoilers. Patreon.com/Real Spoilers.
There you go. Thank you. And this is Joe. You can follow me on all of the socials: Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter for now. I don't know much longer that's going to be. At Joey Butts. It's all the same and everything. Letterbox is the same. All that jazz.
And you can find me on Blue Sky and Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/Real Spoilers. Don't forget our aforementioned Patreon. And of course, you can watch all of these over on the YouTube. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Harry has been dead for 5 years.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, 'cause we already warned you.